Trusted.
I mean, I knew, what kept me, I knew that I was an addict from when I was 15 years old. When I started the year after my dad got killed. I started taking drugs. And I progressed very, very quickly to heroin. And I was addicted for 14 years, on and off, but I always wanted to quit. So I tried to earn this. I was basically, I was living against conscience at that time. I knew that I did not want to be an addict, and I had iron willpower in other parts of my life. I gave up candy for Lent when I was 13, and I didn't eat candy again until I was in college. And I gave up desserts the following year for Lent, and I never had a dessert till I was in my freshman year of college when I was doing, playing sports. And I wanted to bulk up. But I felt like I could do anything with willpower, but somehow this compulsion was utterly impervious to my willpower. And I would, the most demoralizing feature of addiction was my incapacity to keep contracts with myself. Yeah. I would tell myself at 9 o'clock in the morning, I am never going to do that again. And at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd be doing exactly what I said. And, it was like somebody else had stepped into my body and was now, a new driver in the truck was now nothing to do with me. And it was baffling to me. It was just bewildering. Why can't I control myself? But I tried earnestly, sincerely, honestly, for 14 years to stop and couldn't do it. One of the things I never tried was 12-step program because of exactly what you said. There was no way, given my background and my vulnerabilities, that I would step into a room of strangers and start talking about what was happening in my life. And I came in September of 1983, I was arrested, I was in the papers, so at that point, there was no secret left, and it was the best thing that happened to me because I was able at that point to come in and, take advantage of this program. But I knew from the beginning that, if you're an addict, you are dishonest. You have to lie. You can't, you cannot, I think it's impossible to be a drug addict and not lie. Mm-hmm. And I knew that the dishonesty was associated with my addiction, and that if I did not become rigorously honest in every aspect of my life, that I was going to fall back into the addiction. And so, I put a lot of effort into that, and it was difficult. I remember one time I was in court, and you know what? It's strange when you get. I wouldn't say I was a pathological liar, but I was habitual. And if you ask me, where did I get this shirt? I would not. The first thought in my head would not be, where did I get this shirt? It would be, what can I say to put myself at some advantage in this relationship? I wasn't thinking, of the truth. And I had to break myself of those habits by when I caught myself saying something dishonest to tell people right then, what I said to you just now was not per truth. And the pain of doing that a couple of times was what, allowed me to move. I remember reading very, very early on about an obituary that C.S. Lewis who was a great theologian who wrote the Narnia books and a brilliant novelist. But he wrote this obituary about a friend of his where he described his friend as honest as the daylight. And I read that phrase and I was like, wow, I wish that someday somebody would say that about me. And around that time, I was in court. I was arguing in front of a federal judge in White Plains, and he asked me a question. I said something that was not true. And I sat down, and my opponent got up, and it was something that I could have never gotten exposed on or caught. It was only slightly an exaggeration. But I sat down, and it would have no consequence to me. It could never have any consequence to me other than just my conscience eating at me. And I sat down, and I was like, wow, that was not true. So the next time I got up, I said to the judge, I just want to say something. What I said to you, was not true. And there was like this stunned silence in the courtroom because nobody had ever heard a lawyer do that before. And then it just went on, and but the pain of doing that a couple of times, you will get struck honest quickly because it's so agonizing to give yourself up. That got me kind of in a better habit of being honest. And right now it's critical, I understand it's critical for my survival. So I'm married to somebody who I don't think has ever told a lie in her life, and she's an example. She's a role model for me, but she has no impulse to it. It's like I've never heard her say anything even slightly self-promoting or dishonest or distorted or even exaggeration. And she still manages to be very funny and very interesting.